Welcome to Percolating Change, the podcast where we brew better outcomes one sip at a time. My name's Alicia James, and my guest today is Daniel Hemhauser. Daniel is a project management expert, thought leader, and the top 1% global LinkedIn content creator. With over 20 years in the PM trenches, he's a trusted for real judgment, clarity, and leadership under pressure. Daniel's LinkedIn page has reached over 82,000 with project managers and professionals worldwide who follow along for honest, real-world insights into what actually makes projects succeed. On LinkedIn, Daniel also shares clear, unfiltered insights on project leadership, emotional intelligence and decision-making, stakeholder influence without authority, trust, clarity, and presence when things go sideways. Daniel is also a founder of the PM Playbook, the fastest growing project management community on the planet. And it's built for PMs who want more than theory, certifications, and with over 3,600 plus members and growing, the focus is on the human side of delivery. And this is my personal favorite part, the human side of delivery, how to lead conversations, navigate politics, and move work forward when the plan blows up. Daniel, I had to give you that fabulous, I think it's a fabulous introduction.
I was thinking, I want to hire that guy.
Oh, so good to have you.
Oh my God, thank you so much for having me.
Welcome. So I wanted people to get a bit of an idea of who you were and who you are, because I have been watching you for a long while now on LinkedIn, and then picked up the courage to say, you know what, I'd love to talk to Daniel. And when we had our first chat last week, it was as though we were old friends. So what I want to do actually is just kick it off with one question, and we'll see how it takes us, Daniel. So thank you. So one of the questions I want to ask is, you've spent 20 years in project management, but you talk a lot about the human side of delivery rather than methodologies and frameworks. And I find that really interesting, and I'm curious, what shifted your focus there? And was there a moment in our project that changed how you saw the role?
Oh, absolutely. So I've been, like you mentioned, I've been managing projects for a little bit over 20 years now. And as with every good PM, right, I started out my frameworks, my toolkit, my PMBOK on the side. I had everything that you would expect for an ordinary project manager. And, again, I try to deliver projects by the book. And it wasn't until probably about year 9 or 10 where I moved into more of a very senior project management role, where I started to get involved in, of course, much larger projects where there was more than 3 or 4 people. It was global, people all over the place, tons of different stakeholders. And I started to see that even though in a lot of instances where we were still delivering the project by all metrics, time, scope, schedule, things like that, sometimes afterward, the teams were despondent, they weren't responding, they were quitting, they were burnt out, the stakeholders weren't happy. And I think that's the first time I started to kind of see something was a little bit different. Although we were hitting our marks, still something wasn't right on the inside. And it wasn't until about a year after that, after I started realizing that, or was probably my largest project ever at that point. It was only about $20 million comparatively to my other projects later on. But I was running a team of about 300 people, and man, it was one of those projects that just never died. We could never get to the finish line on this. And again, people were quitting. It was all over the place. No one was happy. Stakeholders, although we kind of were meeting the requirements of the senior stakeholders, again, just the people I work with, the people closest to me, were just not happy individuals. It led to people leaving and just a lot of switching out, a lot of cross-functional teams. We had to switch those people out. And that's when I really kind of figured out, what am I going to do? Like, I can't operate in this environment with people leaving and moving in the project hard enough. And I sat down with one person that I want to call him my troublemaker, but they weren't really a troublemaker. It was one of my IT guys, best in the business, at least I had met at that time. And this guy delivered projects like in his sleep. And all of a sudden, he wasn't showing up at the meetings. The quality of his work significantly dropped down. And when we left the meeting, I was like, hey, what's going on, man? Like, again, I knew the guy okay enough, not like friends or anything like that, but I'd known him good enough. And he just kind of, like almost with tears in his eye, just started laying all this stuff on me. His wife and his family and his work, and he has so many projects, and he's expected to do so many things, and he wants to help, and he wants to do a great job like he always did. But he just couldn't do it. So it was the first time where I actually had to work on not a project specific challenge, but a project team specific challenge, where me and him worked collectively for the next 2 or so hours trying to figure out what can we do. Should we talk to your manager? Maybe we get another resource assigned. Maybe we get some work taken off your plate. Maybe we could get a third-party contractor. Let's try to help you, help me, which of course collectively helps the project. And then from that moment on, after I saw kind of the output of that and what those conversations could do, and really focusing on the team, not as much as, as much as the project, but not as much as the project, and really keep my eyes a little bit lower down than you ordinarily would. I really saw the true power of the personal relationship in projects. Of course, I'd known that before, but not at this level.
Yeah, yeah. That's amazing, actually. Whilst you were speaking there about your IT chap, couldn't help thinking, because when someone makes themselves so vulnerable and, that you've both sat down and he's had to unpack all of those layers that he wouldn't normally show or talk about, it's almost as though I'm no longer good at what I'm doing. I'm going to be judged for all of these other things.
Yes.
But
that's literally almost the same words that he said to me, almost in those
really,
same. Yeah, with tears in his eyes.
Oh, I've been there before, so
me too. I can empathize with that one. Yeah.
Oh my goodness me! I'm so glad that. So from there, I'm so glad that you guys had that conversation, because we're all humans. We're humans first, aren't we? When everything
absolutely,
else.
Yeah. And that was although I knew humans delivered projects, because I'm a human, they're human, I already knew that, right? But of course, I think at the same time, it came with age maturity as well, because of course, I was 10 years older or so at that point. I had a family. I had learned more patience. I just had a different perspective on life. So
experience,
exactly, experience. 10 years earlier, I probably wouldn't have even wanted to have that conversation, or if I did, I wouldn't know how to deal with it. I just wasn't emotionally prepared for it yet.
Yeah. And that's interesting and very true, actually, because by then you would have married, you had your wife, your daughter.
Lots of kids, learn patience.
That's it. You're running your little mini projects outside of Project Lab.
Oh, yes.
Work. So, because I want to get onto the PM playbook at some point. So that from that conversation, something was born, something was created from that.
Yeah.
And do you want to talk a little bit more about, so that was the opening, you thought, okay, fast forward, actually, what did happen? Can you say what happened with this?
Absolutely. So, of course, once that happened, my main mission at this point was to deliver this project. And of course, I tried to leverage that conversation in different ways throughout the entirety of the project. Eventually, that zombie project did come to conclusion. But immediately after that, I was preparing to go back to finish my bachelor's degree. And before that, I was thinking about doing one thing. This time, I wanted to take a more leadership approach only at the college, the university by my house, because it had a lot of psychology and things like that, emotional intelligence type courses. So it was a little bit ahead of its time in a way. But I wanted to take that class because I figured, hey, I experienced this. I could see the power of this. It would be good for me, I think, to kind of try to figure out some of this stuff, because I am no emotional expert. Of course, I know a lot more today than I did 10 years ago or 12 years ago. But I'm no master of this by any stretch of it. So why not go to the experts that teach us stuff and read more about it? So even after that, I try to read a lot of books. I listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of emotional intelligence stuff, a lot of leadership stuff, all the big ones that most people know. I just dived head first into Daniel Goleman, the emotional intelligence, the ESI that he built out, and really tried to understand not only the four core elements of that, but the 12 dimensions and competencies outside of that, and how I could leverage each one of those individually and collectively in different parts of my work, from starting with myself, of course, which if I'm not right, nothing's going to be right. Then taking it outside a little bit to the external, the self-management part, where how I'm perceived and how I interact with other people. And then really going into the social intelligence or the social relationship part of it, where now I'm taking it a little bit outside my team, and I'm taking it to other stakeholders around me, whether it be vendors, sponsors, executive staff, and really trying to. I think that realm right there between those two layers is really where I developed my understanding for psychological safety and how to truly protect the team, while of course delivering the project and all the things you want to do. But I think it took about 3-4 years of really digging in, experiencing more things, going to training, going to class, reading books, watching podcasts, or listening to podcasts to really understand and get some self-awareness. And that little tiny mustard seed opened my mind up. And I've been on this crazy mission for the next 10 or so years, finding anything I can, book, podcast, whatever it is, I want to know about it. Because again, it just, as a human beings, to me, the most amazing thing, we've invented millions of things. We send people to space, but the human being to me is still the most exciting thing to myself that we still have no idea about yet. We know a lot, but we still don't know about it. And even if we do, every person on our team, depending on where you're from, your culture, your religion, the language you speak, man or woman, how old you are, industries you work in, everyone has so many different layers of value systems and different experiences to come to bear, and to try to get even a small project team together to go all in the same direction, on the same pace, same time, same path. It is not easy. And when you're doing that with hundreds of stakeholders, it's almost impossible. So for me, I found my most successful project leadership essence, the core of my being today, by really studying and honing in on that. And what I then, with that information and all that knowledge that I've gained, I turned my work into kind of like a mini test lab, where each different interaction, each group, each new team, I tried different things, especially on global teams, because I wanted to really understand how people think. Again, they have different customs, different holidays. I wanted to learn as much about people as possible, so that, again, I could do a lot of the legwork up front that isn't going to be required in the heat of a project when things are at a standstill or a boiling point. I try to nowadays do all that work up front. So if something does happen, it's very rare, but when it does, the temperature's down. I wouldn't say on a friendship level, but we're on a level where we're trusted and respected peers, and we can have good, honest, open conversations. Not like, if I didn't do any of that work, like a lot of PMs, unfortunately, where a sponsor or a person on the team, like the gentleman I had mentioned, we have a conversation and all of a sudden it's fighting right away. That ordinarily doesn't happen. There's always one or two people that get under your nerves and you can't work with them no matter what. And there's ways to deal with that also. But I want to get to a place where I do 90% of my work up front, even before the first document goes out or my team gets assigned, and then continue to maintain that and monitor, just like a project plan. I even go as far as building KPIs and OKRs for the team, the well-being of the team itself. I don't really show them ordinarily to the people around me, especially sponsors or clients, but I do manage them internally. I always let my team know. I let them know I'm monitoring the team. And when we have team meetings, not on the daily sprints or things like that, but on our team meetings once a month, once a week, bi-weekly, I introduce those. I do check-ins with the teams, and I really make sure my team is always solid, no matter what. Because if they're not, we're not delivering a project.
Exactly. And you know what, Daniel, the psychological safety aspect, if I was in that team that you were speaking about, that would have gone up 100%. So it's so exciting to hear. Now, I've got a couple more questions that will bring out some more information for our viewers. Now, you often say PMs need to lead conversations, not just meetings. What does that actually look like in practice when you're in a room with competing priorities and strong personalities?
Yeah. Well, I feel like, and again, you mentioned LinkedIn earlier, and I write about this a lot, not because I'm trying to put down PMs that do this, because I was like this myself, where I believe that the project manager role was a task manager based role, where we had Gantt charts, checked off boxes. It wasn't until I worked for a company that really opened my eyes to what project management, project leadership could be, not should be, could be. And that's when my mind shifted. Ordinarily, previously, like most PMs, especially starting out, I went into my meeting, my kickoff, my status, whatever the case may be, and I brought a bunch of garbage. I had all my pretty slide decks. I spent hundreds of hours on these things, And I walked out of there with most people more confused than before. I had no decisions made, no people's names in boxes. And it would just created frustration on and on and on. Now, when I do that, you could bet your butt if I plan a meeting or we have a meeting, it's very rare. So if we do, it's for a very important reason. And when we do have that meeting, ordinarily I send out my meeting notes, my agendas and stuff like that. And when I do that, I just don't list a bunch of line items. I specifically put on there, by the end of this meeting, I want to have this decision, nothing else. This one decision, maybe two or three sometimes, but I want to approach a meeting where it's a decision-based meeting. We're not going to talk. We're not going to, put a bunch of status updates. I'm not going to go around the table. I lead the team. I have 2 or 3 minutes of catch up. I don't start right away. I talk to everyone. I chat. I check in with my team. I check in with others. I might say hi to some people I don't know. But right away, when I get into it, they know that what's coming is we're going to start talking about resolving something, get a decision. So for me, once you move into a state of mind like that, and you're positioning yourself as more of a value creator, because if anything else, you're valuing people's time. You're bringing stakeholders together that are hard to get into. So if you do have them in a room or on Zoom or Teams or whatever the case may be, make sure you're valuing the time. I promise it goes a long way. They'll appreciate it. They'll say yes more often, and they'll certainly listen to you more often if you bring them some other decisions that need to be made or change or something financially needs to be improved. Treat it like that. And that is really when my meetings, because obviously there's different components of project management, but as far as my meetings in general, that is when everything shifted for me. And I continue with that today.
Yeah. There's a couple of things you've just mentioned there. The respect for people's time.
Yeah.
That's never underrated.
No.
And just the fact an agenda. I've sat in meetings where I'm thinking, why am I going? Do I actually
Exactly.
need to be here?
Half the people don't need to be there.
Exactly. And I don't even know what we're talking about. The agenda was set on a recurring meeting, 4 months ago, and we've now superseded that. But
that's another thing. If I have to do that, which is rare, I make sure they're updated every time so that we know, again, one, that they're decision based, not blah, 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 and that there is a new decision that needs to resolve, that it's not the same old meeting invite from 4 years ago.
Exactly. So important. Now we're coming midway to the end, but I want to talk about when things go wrong, because they, let's talk about what that might look like.
They always do.
So what separates the PMs that will hold a room and those who, maybe lose a bit of credibility during?
Oh God. And again, I am all the things I'm saying, I'm just throwing this out there. I'm guilty of all of these things myself.
We're all guilty of it, aren't we?
Probably more than most. I'm just throwing that out there. So yeah, ordinarily, when things blow up, or they might not even need to blow up. Maybe you're just a new PM and you're just experiencing something for the first time. You don't really know how to deal with it. And, to you, the world is coming down. To me, it would take 500 people quitting to have the same visceral reaction. But for you, it's very real. And in that moment, that's to me, that's really where leadership is created, right? Because although ordinarily I have leadership, good teamwork, all the things that make a great leader, but in crisis is when leadership is really revealed, right? That's where you see you could be that good talking person and everyone loves you and you're always doing your work and everything's getting done. But in those moments of heated energy, where you have multiple stakeholders, competing priorities, that is where it really shows who a real leader is. Is it the person that's going to flip out, or is it the person that stays calm, does the 2-second pause that I do before every meeting and before every decision? I always have to talk myself down a little bit, because we all know there's scientific research for dozens of years at this point, that when you present yourself in a certain way, the things you say, the way you act, your facial expression, the people around you, especially your closest peers, your project team, they see that, they absorb that, they react and feel the same way. You have a smile, they ordinarily feel good. You have a frown, they feel that. So they're going to react and engage the same way that you are. If there's others outside the project team, that's really showing them, that you're not a great leader. If it's something like a kickoff meeting, to me, kickoff is your first leadership opportunity as a project manager. If you're doing some of those things negative, you have just set the stage for a very unsuccessful project. It might meet all the deliverables, but you're going to burn a lot of bridges along the way. And really, the losing credibility part, to me, in my mind, I would say there's two, probably maybe three things that really define the loss of credibility, right? people that, and you can see this right away, PMs that over-explain instantly. The minute someone starts over-explaining to me, I know that either they're full of crap or they don't know what to talk about, and I've lost all credit. I'd rather hear, I don't know, I'll get back to you tomorrow. I'll get back to you on Friday. I'll accept that answer because I have to say it a lot myself. The next one is those that are becoming defensive. Instantly, that affects everyone else in the room. I don't want to be around a person like that because we're not here to be defensive. It's not my fault, even though it might be. It's not your fault. Let's come to solutions that move this forward, whether it be a decision or a project, right? And then finally, they're trying to chase certainty a lot of times. Yeah, that's probably the last one. They're trying to chase certainty, right? Because as PMs, we know the minute the project starts, that project plan is out the window. I don't care if everything that happens on that has gone well. The conversations on the side and the ancillary components of a project, they never go as planned, even if you meet all your targets, right? So those that chase that certainty are already putting themselves in a position to be defensive, to be over-explaining. It's this, it's on the plan. It's very hard for me to work with those people. And that's why I do a lot of that relationship work up front, because I try to identify those people. And if I do know that those people are going to be working with me on projects, I try to do some back end work, either with them directly or others around them, to make sure that if I do come to an arrangement or an environment where they get like that with me, I still got to get this project moving forward. So I've done enough legwork, and I know how to come at them and make sure that they let them blow their top, maybe let them talk for 5 minutes, and I'm just going to sit there and not say anything. But we're going to get to a resolution for me and my project team, because I still have to deliver this project.
Yeah, you can't have inflexibility. But that's
Yeah,
the way the real world
you have to
works.
be flexible as a project manager.
Number one thing.
That's like core DNA skill.
Absolutely. And as you said, the minute that project kicks off, the project plan gets out the
window. Literally, the minute it kicks off, it's out the window.
That's it. The real world comes along. So now I'm excited to talk about the PM playbook. Now, you've created this PM playbook because you created it for people. Well, look, without me reiterating, tell us, what is the PM playbook? What are the benefits? Why did you create it? And who is it for?
First of all, thank you for bringing it up, and thank you for bringing us attention to this. This is something that, after 21 years, it means the world to me. So for those that want to take a look at the PM Playbook, it is an online community of project managers. We're growing very fast. As you mentioned, 108 new people a week. We're very excited. We launched July 9th, and the intent of this is to really fill the missing need of the project management industry or profession, right? We have certification companies that certainly do their part and they have their thing. But those are great. And I have many. I continue to renew mine all the time. But at the end of the day, what happens the next day after you get that shiny certificate? What happens when you walk into the room and a sponsor says no, or a third-party contractor leaves, or they increase their bill, or one of your suppliers goes out of business? I've had all those things happen to me. Also, people are varying degrees of stages and experience. They work in different industries. So I wanted to create a place that I wish I had 21 years ago when I first started as a project manager. Come one, come all. I don't care who you are, just starting, thinking about it, been doing this 300 years like me with my gray hair. We want everyone to come to this place. So right now, part of it is a community, but we're building a lot of different things around it. We're shooting for 400 live sessions this year, master classes, live trainings, on-demand courses, programs, memberships, everything that you could possibly imagine, regardless of what country you're from, how much money you make. There is something, or actually multiple things for you. We want to build a home where, regardless of your status in life, where you are in career, how much money you make, what country you live in, you have the same access that I have in the US and everyone else has around the world. And it's caught on like wildfire. And it sounds like we're saying something people like to hear. And as evidenced by, we just put out a call for volunteers, and we got 409 applications in 24 hours, and everyone wants to be a part of it. It is so exciting. Now I have to figure out how to deal with all these different applications.
Oh my goodness.
It's so overwhelming.
I bet, my goodness, because Daniel, so it is a community. I love the name PM Playbook. So it's a community, and I could, as a PM, no matter where I am in my PM journey, I'm not a PM. I'm just giving this story. I can tap into this community for advice, for guidance.
Yes.
Issues. Does it meet regularly? Is it a once a month, or how do people engage with it?
Sure. So first of all, it is a free community. There are some small portions that are minimally cost just to pay for the platforms we'll put out there. 95% of it's free, and it'll be like that forever, or I'll walk away. So yes, it's a community. So very much like LinkedIn, where you have different channels and groups and stuff like that. So there's different
Okay.
levels and different groups. And if you want certification stuff, you got that. If you're coming in, you got. If you want some career stuff, you got some of that. But then there's also like this year, we're planning or have planned 400 live trainings or master classes where we've thankfully got the help of the larger project management community, people from PMI all the way down to people that just started. Everyone has something to share with their experience. So they come in, they give a 1 or 2 hour live session. It's all them. We just sit in the background and admin it. We let them do their thing. And they talk on different topics, from risk management to process stuff, to strategy, to career stuff, everything, AI, anything you could think of. We have dozens of sessions. One of the main
Lovely.
core tenets of that is everything we do, including those 400 sessions we're going to do this year, have to be at least 25% career related, whether it be career coaching,
Sorry.
just coming in.
Say.
25% of it has to be at least career coaching related or career
Ah,
guidance. So
yeah.
I couldn't imagine a place for PMs that didn't have some career aspect to it. So at least a quarter of all the things we do have some component of either, getting elevated in your career, just coming in, certificate,
Nice.
whatever that may be. And we're bringing, not me, because I'm no expert in that area, we're bringing the best PMs from project management, people that have been doing this for 20 or 30 years. So you're going to get to hear from the world's most advanced experts on all these different topics. Again, not me, everyone else. And we really want to, again, the community is for project managers, by project managers, not for me, not from our team.
Yeah.
It's for the community, built by the community, for the community. And it will continue to be like that forever. So come on, come all. We would love to have you. And yeah, we have some really exciting things coming up, some cutting edge technology stuff, some basic PM stuff, a lot of different programs, leadership, EQ, a lot of different courses, anything that you think you need to prepare yourself for 2026 and beyond. As we experience this little schism in project management this year and next year, we have dozens of things for you. So come on,
I
come
love
on.
that.
We'd
I
love to
love
have you.
that. I love that. And I think you're such a great, you're not going to like me saying this, but you are definitely a great leader. Because I know you're a very modest person, but you are a great leader. It does not surprise me that
Oh,
you've
thank
got
you.
400 people, volunteers wanting to participate in that, because
Oh,
there's
thank you.
no dryness about the way you communicate. It's very engaging. I'm
It's very,
fascinated and
yeah, it's
interested.
very animated. I'm just
Very animated,
so
and you're
passionate about
human. I love it. I love
exactly.
it.
And one of the reasons why I initially started Beyond, I wish I had something like this, was that I wanted, I searched for 2 years, long and far. I couldn't find anyone
Mm,
that was doing this, because I wanted to throw I don't want to do this. I wanted to throw my
mm,
support behind them. Whatever they needed, I was going to do. Money, time, energy, the EQ stuff. No one else was talking about this stuff. So why not me? Why not us? If I
yeah,
have the experience and I have
exactly.
dozens of other people, we could share hundreds of years experience. Let's bring it onto the community, because no one else is talking about this right now. Why not
Yeah.
us?
You're the Simon Sinek of PM world, I think.
I don't know if I'll
Do
go
you?
that far, but certainly try to
Oh,
leave my little mark of, because right at the end of the day, as as part of being a human centered anything, especially a project manager,
mm,
I feel, and being just a good human on the planet. If I'm not doing something for the people around me, and I've learned this through many years of experience, and touching those, and hopefully leave a legacy, not just for my name so people know my name, but the legacy in that people feel this absorb, and then they do the same thing for others. The Pay
love
It
it.
Forward program, that's
I
the
love
legacy
it.
I'm thinking of, not my name on a billboard or my name on an award somewhere. I want my legacy to be, and the community's legacy to be, that you helping the next person and helping the next person and helping the next person, and that continue on forever.
That's fantastic. So that leads me to my last question, because that's a really good segue. If someone's listening right now and they want to become a more, human-centered PM
Yeah.
starting tomorrow, what's one thing that they can do differently in the very next meeting that they're at, Daniel?
I would tell you, there's not much training. You could definitely check my course, but no problem was there. But if we're talking about just in meetings and in general, like the PM today, right in their office, one of the first things I would say was start speaking last. Stop speaking first. Stop speaking last. Um, Listen for
Mm,
what's being said. And I think Alicia, I think we mentioned this on the call that we had. When I say this a lot, people look at me very strange. Listen intently, right? Active listen. We all know that. We've all heard a term, but I'm not
yes.
talking about with my ears. I'm talking about with my eyes also. Pay
Mm,
attention to what people are saying, but also pay attention to their expressions, their frowns, their excitement. See how people
mm,
are saying things, not only what they're saying. pause deeply. Like I mentioned earlier, I always pause 2 seconds at least before I go into a meeting. And also I pause in between in meetings, especially if things are getting tense. I like to decompress. I try to always be in a place where I'm not allowing the room tension to be elevated. But if it does, by doing some of these things, I'm able to bring it. And of course, listen to podcasts, anything emotional intelligence related. But the number one thing besides active listening and trying to develop your empathy is journaling. I know people might feel a little weird about this, but active journaling. There are thousands of studies about the art of, writing, the retention and stuff like that. But journaling, every morning I have a routine. I don't care what day of the week is, if I'm at work or not. I spend my first 15 of my minutes of my time journaling, of course, before work, not on the company's time, before work. And right at lunchtime, I might jot down some things, maybe, 2 seconds, maybe it's 5 minutes. And then after work, I spend 10, 15 minutes, usually on the train or something. And I try to start my day off with journaling from how, actually, I'll start it the other way. End of day, kind of all the things I made, not just how I felt, but decisions I made. What was I feeling? What were how did I think other people were feeling? And then the next morning I reevaluate that. I take a look because it's a fresh day, fresh perspective. And I journal a little bit more about those specific things. And I just kind of keep doing that. And on Fridays, ordinarily after work on my train ride home, sometimes an hour. So I just kind of look through all my notes for the week. I write some more, kind of how I feel, and just kind of emotionally close out the week and kind of prepare for the next week. And then Monday, I start the whole process over again. Sometimes I do it on the weekend, depending on what it is. But journaling has been one of the things that's really helped to establish my self-awareness and expand it to a level that I know things about. I just recently learned some things about myself that I couldn't even imagine knowing even 6 months ago. But the active listening, empathy, and journaling, those things you could do immediately in your work tomorrow morning. And I promise you, do that for 30, 60, 90 days, your life will be completely different in that time period.
I'm going to start doing journaling more.
It's amazing.
Now.
It's amazing. Someone said it to me. I was like, I don't know about that. It works. It works.
And Daniel, is it actually using a pen and paper, or you put this into the laptop?
I mean, sometimes I do it on my laptop. I am a little old school, so I do prefer a pen and paper. But
I think journaling with a pen and paper.
Yeah,
for journaling.
The thing is, it leaves me with hundreds, if not that. I have notebooks everywhere, at work, in my bag, up there. Every room in my house has notebooks. But I just love the smell of a new notebook and a great pen. But still, once in a while, I do try to consolidate some of my better notes and put them into Word documents. So I start sharing with my kids and sharing with the community and sharing with others in a book. So a lot of my posts, I think we might have talked about this on our call. A lot of the posts, some of this stuff, I'm going to kind of smash it together, and I'm still kind of framing out the book, but it's going to be something about human-centered project leadership. It's going to take 20 plus years of experience putting it together and handing it over as a playbook to the PMs that are here today and coming up in industry, so that they could really, kind of see what it really like is, and maybe not exactly how to do things, but what the possibilities could be for yourself. And then you go from there and figure out what makes sense for you.
I love that. Look, Daniel, congratulations on what will be, because I know that this is going to be an amazing adventure for you that you're on now. And so many people are going to gain value from this. I hope so. Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much. I know people can get hold of you on LinkedIn. So I want to, when I create this and we publish this in March, I will put all the links of all the courses, the community, all of those accessible areas that people can get hold of the PM, and your website, of course, because I had a little peruse through that. So, and just so that people can get up to speed and increase it, double it. It's no reason why this can't be grown exponentially faster than it is, because it's grown so fast, so quickly.
Oh my God, it's so fast. I literally cannot keep up. It's growing so fast.
Wow. Oh, look, you're doing such a great job, but don't forget to take a break and have a little bit of time.
That's my next challenge, taking a break, or my wife throws me out the window.
Well, yeah, that's right. You've got to put your family first, and I know that you do anyway. So thank you so much for joining me on the podcast.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's been my pleasure. And for all of those who are listening, if you have loved what Daniel has had to share, please like and subscribe and give Daniel a like on LinkedIn and join that community. See you again soon. Thanks, Daniel.